Hey there, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Tech Talk with Hughes Performance. I'm your host, Pete Nichols, and today we're going to be talking about our Australian Ford Barra options that we have available for transmission and torque converters. If you've been following us on social media recently, you've probably noticed that, quite frankly, we can't get enough of the Barra platform here. For those of you unfamiliar with the Barra, that's an Australian Ford produced engine. It's 4-liter displacement, dual overhead cam, 24 valve cylinder head. It's an inline 6-cylinder configuration. It was installed in a wide variety of Ford passenger cars as well as some SUVs like the Territory by Ford Australia. Sadly, the engine has been discontinued from production, but there are hundreds of thousands of them available, both in wrecking yards and still in vehicles. It's a very popular performance platform in Australia, and it's finally catching on in the United States. There are several high horsepower Barra builds going on right now. We've been fortunate to be part of those. We've also been very fortunate to work with Ben Neal of Benny's Custom Works. You might be familiar with the Toyota Cresta that he brought over for Drag Week both this year and last year. Had very successful outing with his Barra engine and our Turbo 400 and torque converter package. He and the boys from Skid Factory also built a Fox body Mustang powered by a Barra engine here in the US in a short 9-day period to compete with a second car on Drag Week. Overcame some pretty big hurdles and turned in a stellar performance and managed to take home the quickest 6-cylinder award for Hot Rod Drag Week this year, which is quite an accomplishment. We're very proud to be associated with that program. The boys from Australia also chose our Barra Turbo 400 package and converter for that build. We're actually the first US manufacturer to really address the Barra market aggressively and develop Barra specific transmission and converter products for the high horsepower street strip and drag racing Barra combinations that are so popular. Definitely be sure to head over to Benny's Custom Works and check out their YouTube channel as well as the Skid Factory YouTube channel. They actually have the Fox body Mustang Barra swap build documented on the Skid Factory and are releasing new episodes of that build every week, and it's a really fantastic series. You get a nice look at what goes into one of these conversions, and they just produce really killer content regardless. So moving into the product itself, what sets our stuff apart from some of the other stuff out there, even from some Australian manufacturers, really isn't our torque converter technology. Working with Benny from Benny's Custom Works, we actually developed this unique billet steel front cover that is specific to the Barra, and it's basically a hybrid Barra GM torque converter that can be fitted to a Power Glide, a Turbo 400, or even a Turbo 350 if you want to run one behind your Barra. And what really sets this apart is our 8-bolt PCD. That's pitch circle diameter. For those of you that are unfamiliar with that, that's a common metric term that obviously us in the US aren't necessarily used to dealing with. So this PCD is based on the OEM Ford Australia BTR and ZF bolt pattern, which just features 4 bolt holes, and we basically take that and double it. And the reason that we do that is high horsepower Barra engines are somewhat known for loosening up the torque converter bolts and even shearing them. That can be a real problem. They can also do it with the flex plate to crankshaft bolts. So what we did is we added a second PCD that's on the same bolt circle, and we also changed the thread pitch to give it more clamping force. So you can now have an 8-bolt attachment between the converter and flex plate, and this feature virtually eliminates converter bolts working loose and shearing. We also include a specially developed set of ARP low profile 12-point head torque converter bolts to attach the converter to the flex plate. And they have a very thin head design, so they'll clear the back of your engine block because you don't have a lot of room to work with, especially when you're running a billet flex plate like from Yellowterra or Atomic. And speaking of Yellowterra, their YT9921 flex plate, they're all now drilled to accept this 8-bolt pattern, so you don't have to do any re-drilling with their flex plate, which is pretty nice. The nice thing about it being based on an OEM PCD as well is that you can still bolt this converter up to an OEM style or aftermarket flex plate that just features the 4 bolt holes, and you just won't use the other 4. So this converter will fit basically anything out there for a Barra combination. And then of course we have the Barra spec crankshaft spigot, or a pilot as we call it here in the States. There's no spacers or adapters or anything needed to fit this converter to the Barra crank. This thing literally just bolts right up and you go. We offer this converter in the bolt together configuration that you see here, so that you can service the converter and you can tune the converter yourself with stator changes, and we'll be happy to walk you through that if that's something you're interested in. We also offer it in a lower cost welded model for those of you that don't need a bolt together converter. So we can basically provide you with whatever you need for any Barra power level you can imagine, from a basic 500 or 600 horsepower build all the way up to 2,000 plus, no issues. Our Barra spec transmissions, this one here is our 2,000 horsepower rated turbo 400. Features the Barra spec QuickTime bell housing, and this again bolts right up to a Barra engine. This is a bell that's produced here in the USA, very high quality. The fit is perfect. They literally just bolt right up, no issues, no grinding, no cutting, no modifications, so it makes life really easy. We offer the QuickTime bell on the 400 with the reed case, as well as a couple of other aftermarket 400 cases that are available. We also offer it with the Powerglide reed case, and we can even fit this QuickTime bell to an OEM 400 case with a special billet aluminum adapter ring that bolts to the pump. We can also provide transmission set up to accept a torque power bell housing or a Delo bell housing. Those are both adapter bells manufactured in Australia. We have all of the bell housing depths on file, so we can build the converter to the correct height for each brand of bell housing, so you don't have to do any shimming or modifications. We've literally got all those bases covered for you if you're looking for a Barra package. Not only do we offer 400s and Powerglides, we can fit a 4L80E to a Barra with or without a trans brake. We can fit a 4L60E, which I know will probably get some laughs because Aussies like to refer to those as a box of neutrals, but believe it or not, we do have a 1,000 horsepower 4L60E that will live at that power level and have warranty on it, so that is an option. And finally, we can fit a Ford C4 behind a Barra for you, and we have the converter combinations to complement each of those transmission options. So if you're interested in the Barra platform and you're here in the US, we have all the information you need to help you out with that. If you're in Australia, you can source these products through our distributor in Australia, Rocket Industries. They're ready to take your order. We've filled them in on all the details on what we offer. They have those part numbers available, and they can help you get this product ordered and in your car. So we really appreciate you tuning into this episode. Drop us a line in the comments if you have questions about the Barra or about our products or anything else for that matter. We'll be happy to address those and answer them to the best of our abilities. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like and share our videos, and check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for tuning in.